No More Heroes 3, a game previously thought to be impossible and a dream, and yet here we are. It's finally the month of August 2021, which means it's finally the month that this long-awaited game will actually release. Now, while I may have been focused on a different franchise that has an upcoming release coming out very soon over the past couple of weeks, make no mistake when I say that No More Heroes 3 is a game that I am almost just as excited for. If you know me and have followed me for years, you've heard me mention many times that the No More Heroes franchise is also one of my absolute favorite video game franchises of all time. I love Travis Touchdown. He is like my favorite video game character, right up there with Samus herself. And like I said, the idea of a third No More Heroes game, not including the Travis Strikes Again spinoff, but an actual No More Heroes number 3 game being made, was an actual dream for a decade. And here we are, this game is finally on the cusp of releasing. I am so crazy excited to finally have this game in my hands and see what the next true chapter in Travis's journey is going to be. Before we dive any deeper into No More Heroes 3, I like to always remind you guys that I'm always trying to grow the channel here on Rule of 2 Review. I upload several videos every single week. I cover all things Nintendo, I cover all things Metroid, and I discuss all things gaming. So as you watch this video, if you seem to like what I'm doing and what you hear, then I hope you will consider subscribing to the channel. So No More Heroes 3, man. What do we even say about this game? The last No More Heroes game, like I mentioned, No More Heroes 2, was over a decade ago, okay? The original 2 games were released on the Nintendo Wii, and there was an HD port of the original game to the PlayStation 3 at the time, which was kind of a more unique thing to see back in the late 2000s, but it is something that did happen with that game. It was definitely marred by poor performance and frame rate, and it was one of the few instances where really the Wii version, even though it was standard definition, actually looked and overall played and felt better. Not to mention the Wii remote controls for that time were actually really cool and a huge part of the focus of the game and the gameplay. Now, while I love No More Heroes 2, and it does do some gameplay things so much better than the original game, I do still overall consider the first game to be one of my top 10 all-time favorite video games. It is the better of the two, and yes, I think they're also both better than the Travis Strikes Again spin-off that came out a couple of years ago, which was also fun and I did certainly enjoy. But that original game, there was something special about it, man. The writing was so on point. Suda51, who's behind these games and this character, was really at his A game with that original game. I mean, I love every game I've played that he's made, which is almost every single console release. But truly the first No More Heroes and the writing behind Travis and his banter with the other characters and the assassins and Sylvia herself, so good, so entertaining. I've constantly likened these games to what it would be like if Quentin Tarantino decided to make a video game series, almost as if Suda51 shares, I think, some of the kind of grindhouse pulpy influence that Quentin Tarantino puts into his movies. I very much see them as the same kind of creative people, one in the film industry and one in gaming, and to me, the No More Heroes franchise is the epitome of that quality. Of the many things that's great about the No More Heroes franchise, one of them is the fact that the overall kind of conceit of the story is that Travis is just like a nerdy anime video game guy who wins a beam katana lightsaber kind of thing on eBay. And in the world that he lives in, and in the city he lives in, known as Santa Destroy, the name of the town, there is an Assassins League. And the Assassins are made up of just these crazy, wacky, super over-the-top and kooky characters with different abilities and weapons, and Travis basically tries to move himself up the ranks for a variety of reasons, one of them, of course, being that he wants to be with Sylvia, who kind of helps runs the game. And there's a lot of kind of twists and turns in the story and stuff that I won't spoil with the characters, but he basically just works to defeat and kill in a very gruesome and violent way all of these different assassins to become the #1 assassin. Then he leaves after the first game, comes back a couple of years later, and instead of moving up 10 ranks, he has to move up 50 ranks. He becomes involved with this amazing side character, Shinobu, and she does come back in No More Heroes 3, and I don't want to spoil the events of 1 and 2 and how she's related to it too much, although I guess I might a little bit in this video, but it's just insane. And so what's really cool is in the first 2 games, it's just, we're on Earth, Travis is fighting humans that are assassins in crazy costumes, and he's just killing people to become the #1 assassin. Now comes No More Heroes 3, and the game changes big time, because we are going from assassins on Earth to alien super beings who are trying to take over the entire planet. And you guys, I am so fascinated and in love with this idea. This is an amazing way to up the ante of the story, going from 10 assassins to 50 assassins to 10 alien super beings. I mean, oh my god, what a freaking jump we've made from those first two games to what this third game is. And granted, you know, the series was already full of wacky, over-the-top, fantasy, horror kind of stuff anyway, so it's not like the original games were based all that much in reality, but they were still, like I said, about Earthlings on Earth fighting each other. And suddenly we're bringing in aliens, you know, it's just such a crazy left turn, but it also feels really appropriate for the franchise, and it feels like something tailor-made for Suda51 to do for this franchise. And I love the idea of how we, like I already said, we go from 10 human assassins to 50 human assassins to 10 alien super beings. I cannot wait to see how this plays out. Most importantly, we have to talk about the gameplay and the overall structure of the game, and it seems like this one is going back a little bit to the formula of the original game, which makes me very happy because the original game was, in its own weird Nintendo Wii 2007 way, an open world game, whereas you just existed in the open world of Santa Destroy. There was very little to do, there was like almost no people walking around or doing anything, you just went from icon to icon to do the thing you needed to do, but it was still cool and a lot of fun, and I definitely liked and appreciated that for that reason. No More Heroes 2 tried to streamline the experience by using a map system, so you're just picking your icons from Santa Destroy within the map, as opposed to traversing the city. And to me, that was fine, but I think it was a little bit less interesting. In No More Heroes 3, it seems like, yes, we're still in Santa Destroy, thank goodness. And it also very much seems like they have sections of Santa Destroy that you can explore as kind of mini open world. So we're going back to that open world kind of concept to a degree, which makes me very happy. And then we look at, of course, the beam katana combat, and we've only seen that improve with every single game. From No More Heroes 1 to 2 to now what we're seeing with the gameplay in 3, I mean, it's gonna be out of this world. Partly because, obviously, the Switch is the most powerful tech a No More Heroes game has appeared on. The Joy-Cons are probably going to make the motion better, the frame rate looks a lot more impressive, just the insanity of the moves, the wrestling moves, the takedowns, the beam katana combat, it's beautiful. There's crazy, colorful particle effects everywhere. I just so can't wait to see what this game feels like to play, because the beam katana combat really is the meat and potatoes of this game as far as the gameplay. Now, it does also seem like the minigames come back, because we have seen shots of him doing the lawnmower minigame from the original game as well, and that's kind of just an integral part to the DNA of the No More Heroes franchise, so that's fine. I'm excited to see how they incorporate them. Like I said, I hope they do that more like they did with the original game than the way they used it in No More Heroes 2, and I think that's what they're doing, so in general, we're just getting a souped-up 2021 version of what the original No More Heroes mostly tried to do. The story is also very crazy, because the setup seems to be many decades ago, before even the original No More Heroes game. A young kid named Damon finds this little alien creature, and he raises this creature and then sends it back with its friends, and that creature promises to come back. The creature is named Fu, F-U, Fu. And many decades later, as this kid Damon grows up and becomes the CEO of a big company within Santa Destroy, Fu comes back with a bunch of his friends, works with Damon, and says, we're going to take over the world and you're going to help us do it. And Travis, of course, becomes involved for reasons I'm going to get into. And it's so weird and crazy, and I like that little animated trailer that kind of makes it seem like an anime version of, like, E.T. in its own way. I feel like it was trying to ape the concept of the movie E.T., but use it in the No More Heroes world with the Japanese animation kind of approach. And it's a lot of fun, and it's really goofy, and it's like, it's got what seems like sincere emotion and character development, and then over-the-top nonsense. It's just the perfect blend of all of these factors. Now, I want to go over the official website and a couple of bullet points that they list here that kind of give us a bit of an information on what's actually going on and some things that a lot of us might not realize. If we start here with some of the characters, they confirm, Gene the cat is coming back. Here, of course, is Damon, the young CEO of Utoponia is the name, if I'm even saying that right. Utopinia? It's obviously a play on the word utopia. Childhood friend of Fu, received marvelous powers from Fu when they first met, which he later used to build his tech empire. So they're setting up the whole Damon thing and the Fu thing, which is the main conceit of the story, like I said. Now, Bad Girl comes back. And the Bad Girl thing is very interesting because she was one of the later assassin enemies in the original No More Heroes game. She is defeated by Travis and killed, but in Travis Strikes Again, where her father comes after Travis for revenge, she's actually revived with very little explanation as far as I remember. She kind of just pops back up. They even crack a joke about it here. Got better thanks to her father, Badman. Like, it makes no sense. It's just Suda having fun and having a reason for the character to come back, but she clearly comes back and seems to be on the side of Travis, so I'm very excited to see what they do there. Then we get to the most two important side characters returning in this game, okay? Shinobu, I think, is more important, but I'm gonna do her first and come back to Sylvia. When we look at Shinobu here, master of the sword, her long history with Travis occasionally wobbles between cooperative and contentious, but deep down, she admires him. Shinobu, you guys, is an incredible character. I want her to get her own spin-off game. She is amazing. Originally also an enemy of Travis, one of the assassins that he fights. He obviously defeats her, but she ends up learning to admire him, calls him her new master. She is his new apprentice. If I can get my pronouns right, what am I doing here? And basically, she looks up to him as a teacher to her. And so she very much respects him, and they have this great relationship where he, obviously cares for her, but seems kind of annoyed by her, but they work together because she's super efficient and a great assassin, and an interesting character who became more and more important as the games went on from 1 to 2, and she even is very much important in Travis Strikes Again. And so I love that she's coming back, and I believe they've even confirmed we get to play as her. Now, the Sylvia Crystal thing is very unique because she comes back in this game, but her role seems so weirdly different from what it was in the original games, and she looks so different. I can't tell if it's just that she just has changed her look or if they literally have chosen a different character model for her. But she was a very important part to everything Travis was doing in the first two games. And here, I don't know, it's something different. So you can see what they say about her. A mysterious woman with a conniving past, once an agent of the United Assassins Association, which is true in the original game, she now works as Damon's secretary, and he's like one of the main enemies of the game, right? She's married to Travis with 2 children, so it's like they're kind of combining some of how she was involved in the first 2 games with some of what's happening in this new game. So they're committing to the fact that her and Travis did eventually get together, stay together, form a relationship. They even got married and they have 2 kids. Like, that's a mind-blowing revelation. Travis Touchdown has 2 children, and he is still married to Sylvia. That's crazy. But she seems to be playing a more submissive role by being the secretary to some other big guy in a company. But that guy becomes the main kind of enemy who's working with the alien super beings and with Fu to take everything over. But that is also Travis's wife's boss. And so she was way more autonomous in the original 2 games. Now it seems like she's just a secretary character and a different kind of side character. But that's the relation to Travis and the guy who's the main enemy in this game. And so I just find it very interesting. In some ways it doesn't make sense. But I think the brilliance of Suda's games is that a lot of this stuff doesn't necessarily have to make sense. It's just a bunch of pulpy chaos and nonsense just thrown together into kooky games with a fun character, Travis Touchdown, at the center. And so when you take it at face value, it just kind of is what it is. I love that Sylvia is back along with Bad Girl and Shinobu. And so I just can't wait to see it play out. One of the last main things I want to go over is the Death Glove, which the website and some of the gameplay also confirms makes a return. And this is important because this, along with the return of Bad Girl, does kind of showcase how Travis Strikes Again, the spinoff, is actually an important canon part to the overall story of No More Heroes and Travis's journey. And so the Death Glove was introduced in Travis Strikes Again, along with the Death Drive Mark II video game console that was really at the center of that game's story and the gameplay. In Travis Strikes Again, the Death Drive console was an unreleased video game console that Travis had to collect games for, and then go into those games to defeat the bosses and the enemies and just do a bunch of crazy No More Heroes stuff. And again, Bad Man, Bad Girl, and Shinobu all kind of get wrapped up in that journey. One of the ways you played that console in that game was by using and wearing the Death Glove, and when you're in the actual game playing the games, within the game Travis Strikes Again, the Death Glove allows you to put different chips into it, which gives you different special moves and special abilities. Basically, it's just a really roundabout, convoluted Suda51 kind of way to have like a bunch of different skills that you can customize. And they confirm it returns in No More Heroes 3, and they say they list the Death Glove, activate a variety of strategic skills with the Death Glove, customize the skill tree, and try out different chip combinations to find your best fit. So I think that what they're going to do with the Death Glove in No More Heroes 3 is going to be even more cool and fun than it was in Travis Strikes Again. And they even mention having a customizable skill tree, which Travis Strikes Again did not have. You just use the different chips to have different moves. But now you're going to be able to upgrade the different moves that you're using for the Death Glove in this game. That, for a regular console No More Heroes game that's not the spin-off, that's going to be a game changer in terms of gameplay. And I'm really excited to actually have a skill tree in a No More Heroes game, because we've never had that in any of these games. You've upgraded some of your abilities, but there's never been an actual skill tree. Here they confirm that that's the case, and it's using the Death Glove mechanic, which came from Travis Strikes Again, and I just think it's going to be a whole heck of a lot of fun. And so at this point, this video is getting kind of long, and it's probably time to wrap it up for now. They confirm other things like the slash reel is coming back. They confirm that you do go to ramen joints to eat food to power up, which was also introduced in Travis Strikes Again. There's also like the mech suit kind of mechanic that they're bringing into this game, which seems kind of cool as well. But at the end of the day, it's No More Heroes 3, you guys. It's the return of Travis. It's the continuation of the story. I wonder if moving this onto alien super beings as the enemies means that the stakes are going to get so grand that this means it's the end of the story for Travis, or if they're going to plant seeds for Travis's story to continue, and maybe a No More Heroes 4 thing, a spinoff with Shinobu, maybe more stuff confirming the link between No More Heroes and the Killer 7 universe. I mean, there's a lot of things I'd like to see go down. It's a very exciting time. I'm just a big nerd for No More Heroes and Travis Touchdown. I am thrilled that this third game is finally coming out this month. And like I said, 2 years ago, this game was a pipe dream. It was something that, us No More Heroes fans wanted more than anything, but thought was impossible. And now here we are. We're 3 weeks away from this game releasing. It's unbelievable, and I'm so excited. So this is kind of some of my breakdown and my thoughts as we prepare for this game to launch. What do you guys think? Are you excited like I am or not? Talk about it below. And with that, this video is a wrap. Thanks, of course, as always, for tuning in, guys. This is Rob of Rule of Two Review, and I will catch you next time on another video.